visiting all those places is a life-changing experience. It was really a spiritual awakening for me.
I don't know what word to use, but for me it was not just informative, it's a spiritual journey.
Amazing. It's a real, true life experience, and as if I'm in the book, I'm in the Word.
It's like the Bible coming alive and feeling how it was like 2,000, 3,000 years ago.
It is an awesome experience because it is such a privilege to travel with fellow Christians.
It was an amazing, inspiring, unforgettable journey.
It's a different feeling.
Walking where Jesus walked, that alone was already awesome.
And it was really, wow, this is where God declared His Lordship and being a Messiah.
I had my plan to see the place only, but God had another plan to meet me.
It was a journey beyond your senses. Probably I might highlight entering Jerusalem, because I think that was when my emotion was most intense. And then the tour guide, he started to play this music.
He asked us to sing that song, Jerusalem, Jerusalem, and we were all crying.
As soon as we went out of the tunnel and saw the city of Jerusalem, it was an amazing feeling.
Suddenly, the atmosphere changed. Everyone is crying.
I remembered Psalm 122 when David said, I'm glad when they said unto me, let us go into the house of the Lord. And of course, what else was he referring to but Jerusalem? Because for them, for the Jews, Jerusalem represented the presence of God. Getting into the presence of God, that is the most wonderful thing that can ever happen to a person's life. And as it has been described in the Psalm, they are waiting at the gates.
The most memorable for me was at Capernaum, where Jesus stayed at Peter's mother-in-law's house. The house was under, but they built a church on top of it. So, and everyone was rushing to go home. So I thought, no, I'm going to go up. So I went up, and then and I just said, okay, I wasn't meant to cry, but I go up and I just said, Jesus, if you stayed here, I want the blessing. And I just felt something really different. And if I stayed there longer, I would have been like on the floor already sobbing. But then I just hugged everyone. I said, you should have come with me. You didn't know what I experienced. But there was other moments as well, but that was the most highlight for me.
The unforgettable experience I had was at the Wailing Wall, and I was actually crying and really pouring my heart out to him. And I was so comforted when he said that nothing was hidden from me. I know everything. I know your pain. I know your anxieties. I have experienced what you have experienced. And I was so comforted by knowing that he understands everything. And then the next experience I have was when we were in the middle of the Sea of Galilee. It's totally different. I was crying at the Wailing Wall, and in this boat, I was like jumping around. I was praising and worshiping the Lord because I felt totally His peace that I could not understand. I was so joyful at that time with the rest of the group. I think everybody was so happy there.
We were just singing praise and worship to God, and it's just so powerful, the praises, and I could just raise my hand forever, singing as if no one is there but me and God, and just experiencing the calmness of the sea. And in that moment, the message that I got was to just let go of any control of my life, surrender everything, and let Him be the master of my life.
What I was reminded of was how Peter walked on water. He started to sink when he looked at the waves. And so God was talking to me that I want you to fix your eyes on me. I want you to just focus on me.
5 days before I'm going to Jerusalem, there's a big challenges or trials that came to me to the point that I said, I don't think I can make it. And I would say the Lord picked me up from that place. Come on, just focus on me. Especially when I was on the garden tomb, for me, I really felt the presence of God there. The big rock that will try to block you. There's a lot of stone in our lives that hinders you to see His goodness. The Lord is able to move it for us. Yeah, that's the appointed time that I've met Him. Yeah, His peace and joy and the assurance that He's sovereign and He's in control.
With my age, am I going to be able to go to the summit, to the top of Mount Sinai? And I said, and I prayed, and I said, Lord, give me the strength to go to the top. And to think, just thinking, it's about 2.5 hours by camel. From there, you have to walk 750 steps. And when I was on top of Mount Sinai and I was able to make it, and I said, thank you, Lord, like I really made it.
What I want to share is my experience when I was climbing the mountain. I have that desire. Lord, I want to see the place where you you speak to Moses. So we climb and climb and climb, we rest. But as we are walking, something in my heart tells me, stop. Stop. Take time and be alone with me. So while I'm sitting there, because my mind is thinking about Moses, I was thinking about how, in spite of the stubbornness, the murmuring of the people, his desire was to be more intimate with God. So while I was thinking that, I reflect in my own life. My husband for 7.5 years is paralyzed, lying down. And at the same time, my only brother is dying with cancer. And so I was pouring out my heart to God in spite of so many problems in my life. He is there. He is always there. And before I knew it, I burst into singing. I'm no longer thinking of what God does for me, but I'm thinking only Jesus.
When we visited the garden tomb, we had a pastor who was our tour guide, and he said that most likely that was the place where Jesus was crucified.
Oh, when he said that, my tears just came out of my eyes.
And we were all just so quiet because the experience was just one thing that I would never forget in my life.
And I couldn't help but cry and think how God did that for us. And because of His love for us, He died on the cross. And I was just imagining, oh Lord, this is the place of the skull. This is the very place where you gave your life because of your love for us.
Yeah, in that very moment, I could not comprehend how painful and the shame, because we were told that people can actually see Christ's face, because that's the way of shaming people. And because in the movies, you see them on top of a hill, very high, people were looking up, but really in this, when he said that it's almost like eye level, so people can see the faces of those criminals, it just pierced my heart. And so that really was the moment where, wow, that is so much pain, so much sorrow, so much, and yet He's gone through that for me.
The most meaningful place for me is at the foot of Mount Sinai, where I experienced God's presence. It was late in the afternoon when we arrived there, but in the middle of the night, I suddenly woke up and I couldn't sleep anymore. So at sunrise, I decided to go out and walk around. And like everyone else, we have our ups and downs, our struggles in life, our disappointments. And I was hurting that time. So I asked God, and I said, Lord, please help me to forgive those who have wronged me and to take away the bitterness in my heart. I said, Lord, I need your help because with my own strength, I cannot do it. I cannot forgive. I need your help and I want to feel your presence at this time, Lord. And suddenly, I felt a strong wind and rain poured out on me.
So we have to go down again. And it started to drizzle and drizzle rain. And the feeling that I had is, it's just like all the blessings of the Lord had been poured on all of us.
You might say that it's a coincidence, but it changed me.
Before I went up to the mountain, to Mount Sinai, I keep remembering this Bible verse. Be strong and courageous. Do not be frightened. Do not be discouraged. For I am your Lord, and I will be with you forever. And that gave me that strength to go up because He is with me and will be with me forever. When I reached the top, in seeing the sun has risen, although it's only a glimpse of it, but when it rose fully after half an hour, I just raised my hand and I said, God, thank you for the life that you've given me. And I said, this is it, I fully surrendered to you. So when I was up there and surrendered my life, I also asked for many, many requests for my life. Firstly was to ask forgiveness and to give me strength to forgive others who are against me. So when I went down and through the journey, I was seeing quite a few things of the prayers that God is answering me slowly. And the climax of it was when I saw Bernie committing himself to have water baptism.
Now, to me, the highlight of the trip would be my water baptism in the River Jordan. Well, and I'm gonna admit also that out of 26, I was the only one who never had a water baptism before. So it's actually a validation of faith. Initially, I was even planning to go with that one as well, but I can feel the presence of the Lord, and I think the Lord guided me and pushed me and said to me, "You can do it, and you should do it."
My renewal of baptism at the Jordan River. The moment I put my 2 feet on the water, it was so wonderful, really. The experience will remain here forever.
And also being baptized where Jesus Christ was baptized as well. So, to me, that's really memorable and something that I would treasure for the rest of my life.
And that was the most meaningful part of the journey. My husband committing and surrendering to God, to Jesus Christ, is the beginning of our life together in faith.
What I realized when I had that experience is that I need not go to that place to know that I am close to God.
It gave me that revelation that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you are here or in Israel or in the Philippines. God is everywhere, and we can always commune with Him everywhere.
Israel is one of a kind.
Go and see it and experience it for yourself.
I recommend, especially if you're a believer, I highly recommend it. It's a spiritual journey, definitely.
But I will really recommend before going anywhere, if you are a believer and a disciple of God, I will see to it that will be first in my bucket list.
It's an experience of a lifetime.
Friends of mine has asked me to organize another trip end of 2019. Anyone from Australia, from this church, yes, come and see me.